Yo, people, man, welcome back to another stream. We got to do the irons, man. Big up to the irons. Let's go. Boys. Madness. 2-0 up again. Another 2-2 draw for Arsenal. The pressure is hitting them, and they're not able to deal with the pressure at the moment. Boys, man, where do we start on this? What are you saying, lads?
The big blue shark, man.
It was 2-0. 10 minutes in, it was like watching Scunthorpe against Arsenal, never mind West Ham. Nothing going on. 2-0 down, can't defend, can't keep the ball. You're thinking game over, and then suddenly there's a little bit of something. Arsenal weren't quite playing the football they were playing first 10 minutes. Boom, cheeky little penalty. There was complaints about it. It was definitely a penalty. Ben Rama slots it in, and in half time you're thinking 2-1. They couldn't, could they? And I didn't think they could, to be fair. And then straight out of the trap, second half, Bowen does it, and there you go. They lost their heads again. Bosh!
They're not able to deal with the pressure, man. They're not able to deal with the pressure. You know what I mean? And suddenly, we look at the game against Southampton on Friday night, and I'm thinking, geez, boys, you got to go again and try and get yourself up for this. Pick yourself up because, you know, they've got to win a game, man. And they ain't doing it right now.
So I just don't know how they didn't win. I genuinely don't know how they didn't win that game. Chat's popping off.
I'll tell you why, man. Pressure, man. Pressure gets to you. Their big players didn't stand up. Arteta made some crazy decisions. People in the chat saying Hugh get the red off. This is a Manchester City jumper from the 1969 FA Cup final. This is official Manchester City jumper. Learn your history, people. Cup final.
Yes, cheers, mate.
Listen, man, the pressure, man, it's not for everyone. That's 2 stinkers in a row in a week from Bukayo Saka. He's meant to be the star boy. He's not stood up. Arteta pulls off, you said before we went live, Luke, and a spot on. He pulls off Thomas Partey, the anchor in the middle of the park. Yeah. You need to win the game, and you pull off your anchor. Luke said this, so I'll give him credit for it. It's spot on. If we were in that situation, Pep doesn't pull off Rodri. Pep does not pull off Rodri. That is a rookie mistake from Mikel Arteta. Pressure, man, it does crazy things to you. It does crazy things to you. And all I'll say is, man, that big blue shark, it's getting closer. It's getting closer and closer. And I'm looking at some AFTV Arsenal fan reaction to this. They're getting too close for comfort, that big blue shark. Too close for comfort. I'm loving it, man. That's huge for us. Big up West Ham. Big up David Moyes.
I know. You know what it is? You know what? 3-0. 3-0 is the killer. When you get 3, you've got to proper balls it up, man, to lose, you know, to draw or lose the game. You know, 3 goals, you can't be conceding 3. 2-0's anyone's game, man. You know what I mean? And this is why teams, typically, the top managers don't make wholesale changes until they get 3-0 up, like Pep Guardiola did against Leicester yesterday. Because 2-0, man. 2-0, even we was 2-0 up yesterday against Leicester. I was like, I wasn't chill. I was like, get that 3rd goal and then I'll be chill. We got the 3rd goal and then you're in comfort mode, man, because then you can make wholesale changes. You can't be making wholesale changes, man. Taking off Jesus, taking off Partey. Now I'm thinking, what is he doing out there, Arteta, man? He's making, like say, rookie mistakes. And the team just weren't able to deal, man. You know what I mean? That at 2-0 up, West Ham after 10 minutes, I thought, and you said it as well, lads, in the pre-match to the show here, was I thought this could be fucking 6, 7, or 8 here, the way it's going, because West Ham was playing all sorts of mad style. Their formation was whack, their tactics were insane. And Arsenal, all they needed to do, they needed to get together after that 2nd goal and go, let's go and get that 3rd goal. Let's go and get that 3rd goal, and this game is over. That's all they needed to do. And they didn't really go at it with much intensity, man. And after 10, 15 minutes of riding the storm, I remember in the watch-along, because I did a watch-along for it. After 25 minutes, I was like, you know what? West Ham actually doing all right here now. Like, they're actually getting themselves back into this. And that is not the words that Arsenal fans want to be hearing. That game should have been dead after 15, 20 minutes for Arsenal. But they didn't. They're not the killers. Arsenal are not killers. And that game proved it, because after that 2nd goal, they should have gone hell for leather to get that 3rd goal and kill the game. And they didn't. They tried all the tiki-taka, pause of football, and they paid the ultimate price. And what that means is, it means that City still have to beat Arsenal at the Etihad on the 26th of April. That's not really changed. However, what it does mean is if we beat them, which we had to do before today anyway, it gives us a free draw in the bank, providing our goal difference is good, which it should be good by then. And with games coming up against Brighton, with games coming up against Chelsea and Brentford, I think having that draw in the bank is a huge, huge bonus. So I think today it's not fully sent the title to City, but what it's done is we had to beat them anyway. And if we beat them, when we beat them, it's give us that extra little. What today's done, it's given City an insurance policy, innit? City now have an insurance policy of when we go to places like Brentford, when we play Brighton and Chelsea, if we turn up, we're a bit slow. We've got Champions League, remember, as well. We should be in the semi-final, and maybe we're a bit shit. If we take the point, that could be good for one game. So they've handed us an insurance policy in a game that they should have just got the W, man. Unbelievable. I can't believe Arsenal didn't go and just go full send for that third goal, man, because if they did, we wouldn't be here right now talking, man. I mean, and they've let themselves down, innit, boys?
I think there was a lot of complacency involved. I genuinely think they overlooked this fixture. Maybe the players did and the manager did, but the fans, a lot of them, I'm not saying all of them, but a huge amount of them did. Like, I do a lot of shows with Arsenal fans, and they were chatting to me like, oh, I'm looking at the Newcastle game, the City game, the Chelsea game. I'm saying, lads, you're playing West Ham this Sunday away. There's no guarantee of that. You need to go into every single game like we did with Leicester yesterday. Cup final, cup final, cup final. No game is a given. And they fell on it. It's come back to bite them in the arse.
Nice punch, you. Yeah, well, I don't know how they didn't win the game. They're 2-0 up, and we saw at Anfield, they've kind of switched off a little bit, lost their heads. Even for a period of game, it's when the game turns a bit chaotic, they lose control of the ball, and it goes end to end a bit. And those games do not suit them. And if they think they're going to win a lot of games this season, they've got Newcastle away coming up, and if they start that game well, they might not get the 2 goals they've had at Anfield and the 2 goals they've had at West Ham today. So, yeah, if they start badly or have any period of the game like that against Newcastle, St. Maximin, these players are going to punish them, and that is a game that they're going to struggle in, I think, especially after dropping 4 points in like a week.
But I'm not even looking at that now. I'm looking at Southampton. And don't get me wrong, I fully expect Arsenal to rebound there and get the W, but it's on a Friday as well, so everyone is going to be watching that match.
Yeah,
everybody, because there's no other football on. It's a Friday night. Now, like I say, I do expect them to win that game, but suddenly the pressure on that game is gigantic because everyone's like, "Bro, you've just dropped points 2 games in a row." Especially one of them you didn't. In fact, both of the games you could argue that they shouldn't have dropped points in. They're 2-0 up against Liverpool, 2-0 up against West Ham. They should have won them both, really. Everyone's going to be watching this, what should be a relatively straightforward game. And I would also argue that they've just given Southampton a massive boost. They've just given Southampton Southampton now going to be sat there, right, going, hey, fucking hell. We've got a chance here, man. We've got a serious chance. So, oh, man, this is why you got to kill off games. Yo, we're bringing Big Steve in, man. Bringing Big Steve in.
Hey, yo.
What we saying, Steve?
Big Steve.
Listen, it is what it is, isn't it? I told them, they didn't believe me. I told them blood was in the water. They kept sending me little pictures of dolphins and crabs and whales and that. And listen, it is what it is. They've left the door wide open now. We don't need to go too giddy. We know what's coming. We just got to be confident in the boys. But I'm telling you this now. They could go 2-0 up at the Etihad, and we asked, because we'll beat them. We'll beat them because we're on it now. They've let it slip for me, and at the end of the day, they didn't look confident. Arteta's arse was falling out near the end. The substitutions were awful. Once West Ham dug in and started to press them, you could only see Arsenal just bottling it. And like you say, they've left the door wide open. I couldn't believe it. I fully expected us to be really, really on the tail and pressing hard, and the way they've been playing Arsenal. But I just said to one of them, then, is that a point gained or 2 dropped? Because last week, apparently, that was a point gained. But this one, I think now they know that this is 2 dropped. But listen, all City fans are buzzing right now. We don't need to get carried away. We believe in our lads from day one, what we were going to do. They told us to come to the Emirates and you'll see what they was going to do to us, and we slapped them. And all I'm saying is now, I'm going to Germany in the morning. I'm getting on bratwursts. I'm loving life, and I can't wait for the Emirates game, the Etihad game. I can't wait, man.
There's going to be a madness.
You can't give City this chance, man. You cannot give City this opportunity. When you have that little gap, that little bit of comfort, you don't invite us back in. You don't open up the conversation, give City a sniff, give City, as Steve says, that little bit of blood for the shark to smell. You can't go 2-0 up twice in a week and end up with 2 points. That's not good enough in a title race.
Shocking.
It's simply not.
You can't do that, yeah.
The way we're playing as well, the way we're playing at the minute, I mean, Saturday, we got our noses in front. He takes Erling off, Rodri off, Grealish off. He's managing it fantastic, Pep. You know what this Etihad game reminds me of? It reminds me when we were chasing United and we had the Man United at the Etihad in the middle of the week and the crowd was insane and Vincent Kompany scored that goal and that's when we all knew then. And I can see the same. Listen, it's dangerous. Arsenal have got nothing to lose. They've got to come to the Etihad and go for it. Well, all I'm saying is the way City's been playing at the minute, the way the fans are getting behind us, we just know what we got to do now. We've got 1 foot on their neck. We've just got to finish it off.
Yeah, no, it's a huge result today. Like I say, it gives us that insurance policy, doesn't it? If we've got difficult games, man, because we've got to beat Arsenal. That's not changed today. I mean, we still have to beat Arsenal, but going to Brighton, playing Brentford, Chelsea, games that you could see City drop points in. I can see us maybe dropping points in terms of a draw. And that gives us that insurance policy in one of those games. We still have to beat 2 of them, but to have that little bit of a going into a game knowing that, okay, if you do draw today, it's not the end of the world and it's still in your hands, providing the goal difference is still in your favour, which is looking good. It's just put us in such a good place. And again, if you look at the two morales, if you combine the Arsenal fans' morale, including the players, and the City, we're flying. Every single City fan you speak to, man, is buzzing. We're 4 points behind Arsenal in the title race with 6, 7 or 8 games to go. And everyone's buzzing. Everyone's buzzing. Everyone's buzzing about the Champions League.
Gail Clichy has just messaged me now, right? And put a little droplet of blood to my scorer. So even he knows, and he's one of their legends. Even he knows what's happening when he's doing that. It just come up on the notification down, Gail Clichy, little drop of blood, man. So listen,
you know what it is? People have not. I don't think people have respected City enough in this title race. Now I'm seeing some of the media and pundits. I'm going to put that in quotes, man, because some of them are chatting ass, and some of them are like not even talking about how City get when we're in this situation. City thrive in this situation. I said a couple of weeks ago, and I think I said it on an Avengers show, I low-key think City like being in this position. I think City love being this. I think some of them players prefer being the hunters than being where Arsenal are now because they thrive off it. They go into games knowing that they cannot lose. They have to win the game. And just like the Arsenal game, because Arsenal don't have to beat us at the Etihad. They can get a draw. City have to win. And I think that's a better position to be in. I'm happier knowing that we have to go into that game having to win. Whereas Arsenal are going to go in there. They won't know whether to stick or twist. Do they full send it and go for the win, but then leave themselves vulnerable? Or do they sit back? Or will just be in this state of not knowing what to do? I hate being in that position of stick or twist. And I think City are in a great position right now. Obviously, we don't play another Premier League game until the Arsenal game, which is in 10 days' time. But in the meantime, we're going to Bayern Munich 3-0 up. We should be in the semi-final of the Champions League, barring a disaster. We're going to an FA Cup semi-final against Sheffield United. We should be beating them, no disrespect.
It's all about the rhythm, man.
It's all about the momentum. And Steve, I say again, just quickly, I say it again. This is why I said last week, when all the Arsenal fans were out there saying, oh, I'd rather be in our position having a game a week. I said, you're mental. What you actually want in this situation is to be playing a game every 3 days, momentum, bang, 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 win.
They've got another week to stew on that now. Thinking, how did that collapse like Liverpool? Exactly. And one thing I'm going to say, I've said it all along, the business end of the season is madness. Look at the Premier League results from yesterday. Tottenham get beat, yeah? Fulham win at Everton. Who else? Brighton win at Chelsea. Crystal Palace flattened Southampton.
Villa and Newcastle,
Newcastle get levered off Villa. West Ham have got a point again. So it's mad now because all these teams now are fighting for the season. It's all right going to Southampton and places like that in the middle of the season. They're sort of just ticking over. But now, when they're really thinking, shit, players have got futures on the line, whether they're going to become a Championship player or a Premier League player. difficult games coming up. Aston Villa are going to be hard because they want to go for it. Newcastle have dropped off. So at St. James's Park with the fans, they're going to want to go. There's loads of twists and turns to come. But listen, we're in an absolute brilliant position, guys. And I'm going to love you and leave you there because my tea's just arrived. But listen, I'm over the moon. I'm not getting too excited. I'm not going to eat too many bratwurst. But all I can say is download them pictures of Great White Sharks. Put them in as many Arsenal fans' DMs as you can because the Sharks are rattling them to the core, man.
Yeah, man. Yo, big up, Big
See you
Steve,
later,
man.
guys.
Big up.
Come on,
Thanks for
man.
jumping
See you
in,
in a
man.
See you
Go
later.
play, Steve.
Big up, Steve. Big up, Steve. Yeah, I mean, lads, what you say? You was going to say something then, bro.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, this thing about wanting to go. Like, Arsenal got beaten by us in the FA Cup, and there was people saying, we're the real winners, you know, we're going to win the league, we don't want to be in the FA Cup. And then they've bottled it on penalties to Sporting, and then again they're covering up the tears by saying the same thing. And you need the rhythm. It's what Pep said in the interview recently. You do need the rhythm because if you're not playing every week, what happens is you do lose a game. And if we'd lost, for example, we played Southampton away, if we drop points there, we go straight into the next game midweek and we try and win in another competition, etc. And you can kind of bounce back and build momentum in other competitions. If you draw at Anfield, you sat there in a room sweating for a week, hoping and praying that City drop points or the next week you can bounce back. And it's
meanwhile as well, lads, I'd also add to that. You not only sat there for a week, you're watching City go and smack up Bayern Munich.
Exactly.
You're watching City go 3-0 up against Leicester within 30 minutes and Erling Haaland break the equal the Premier League record. This is why, bro, I completely agree. I remember listening to Talk Sport after the FA Cup game and Arsenal fans ringing in saying, this is great, we're out of a competition. They did the same thing against when they got beat against Sporting Lisbon against the Europa League. And then when City beat Bayern Munich 3-0 the other day, they were saying the same thing. This is great for us. We've only got a game a week. You can tell they've not been in a title race for a very, very long time because I would hate that. And that's what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks. It's bullshit. You're conning yourself. It's an L mentality. You want to be, as you say, imagine if they would have had a midweek game after Liverpool, 2-3 days later, just go, we ain't got time to think about that. And we're not looking at West Ham. We've got a Champions League or Europa League game to think about. Go into that and get the W. Then they come into the West Ham game 3 days later with more rhythm, more momentum, and they're not thinking about last week's game against Liverpool because they've just played a midweek game. I think maybe times were like that. Maybe times were like that 20 years ago. I think times have changed. And as you said, Pep Guardiola always talks about rhythm. We don't get much rhythm when you're playing a game a week, man.
They're very vulnerable now, Arsenal. They're in a really, really vulnerable position. You know, by the time they take to the pitch against Southampton, it'll be a day short of 3 weeks since they last got a win. 3 weeks. And they're sitting after each time they drop points saying, are we the same team we were? Are we bottling this? All those thoughts going through your head. And like you said, they're watching City brush teams aside with ease. Like, this is the difference between winning a title and not winning a title. We saw out our results yesterday. We got our extra goal, our third goal, to give us that bit of comfort. And then, it was a shaky 15 minutes, but we saw it out. They didn't. They couldn't hold their nerve. They couldn't hold their bottle. Listen, a lot of people were too quick to write us off. Way too quick. I was down outside the Emirates with Big Steve the night we beat them 3-1 in February. And even though we beat them, there were still Arsenal fans saying, this ain't the same City. You know, they won't go on one of these runs. We're 10 wins in a row right now, 14 unbeaten for a start. City won't do that. They're not the same City. They don't have the consistency, the same fluidity. Look at us now. You wrote us off way, way too quickly. Way too quickly. I said this way back then. I said a win away to West Ham or a Forest in the middle of April, middle of May is much bigger than beating, say, Liverpool at home in September because the pressure's really on. Really on, and they're not handling it. It was all fine and well playing great football between September and Christmas and playing all right just after, the best football in the league. That's all fine, but there's no trophies handed out. And you wrote us off, the team that knows how to win these trophies.
And it's that thing, bro, that I've been saying all season. You can be top of the league from match day 1 to match day 37. But as long as my team is top of the league come match day 38, I couldn't give a flying fuck. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is the thing. This is why you're absolutely spot on. These good performances in the middle of the season are all nice. At the end of the day, it all comes down really to the last 10 games. And it usually does most seasons. Who's more consistent and who gets the result over the line? If I can tell you now, because that first 15 minutes, Arsenal were very good. You know, they blew West Ham away and I thought this could end 6 or 7-0. I can pretty much tell you now with 100% accuracy that every single Arsenal fan in the world would have took a 1-0 absolute shambolic performance, but they got the 3 points. And that's the difference. It doesn't matter much about performances when you get to this stage. Look at the second half of us yesterday. Awful. Who cares? No one cares. Why don't we care? Because we got the 3 points, and that is all that matters when you get in these last games, man. And City have been here. We know how to do it, and we'll do it again. You know what I mean? And I just think that this is crazy. And they got to play Southampton on Friday night again. And like I said, I do expect that they'll bounce back, but the whole world will be watching Arsenal next Friday, and they'll know that the whole world's watching them. Southampton are going to be pumped for the game because they're going to have seen what's happened. They desperately need the points. And, you know, it's bizarre. And I agree with you. I think when people are writing us off, I mean, have people not learned? Do not write this team off. Do you know what I mean? People are saying, oh, City won't go on one of them runs again. Why? Why won't we go on that? Because we played shit for a couple of weeks, a month or two. So this team still has it in us to go and do a madness. And that's what we're doing at the moment. We've got a couple of super chats coming here, boys. First of all, big up to Roberto, member for 9 months, says, we're coming. Sharks. Can't wait for the roast of these clowns. Arsenal fans. City need to hit hard, full throttle, and cannot sub off our B team like yesterday. Well, I think you can when you're 3-0 up, bro, because I think 3-0 is the magic number for me. But yeah, I mean, it was a little bit worried. But like I say, get 3-0 up. It's very rare that you see teams go 3-0 up and drop points. Big up Benno says, Daddy Shark. Do. Daddy Shark. I forgot the tune, but appreciate the super chat, man. Nick Tell says, extreme deja vu. 2-0, bottled pen, given away, rip Arsenal FC. Professional unit with the 5 says, Burnley back with our captain, Vincent Kompany. Let's see what he can do in the Prem with Burnley. London bottle jobs. And then he says, half-time merchants from Professional Idiot. Just incredible, you know. What's because the one last week, right, against Liverpool, I think we all agree that can happen, innit? You go to Anfield, you go 2-0 up, and I do think they should have gone for it and got that third goal and gone for it, and they didn't really. They let Arsenal back in, but at the end of the day, that can happen. I'm not going to roast them too hard, right, for going 2-0 up and then drawing 2-2 against Liverpool at Anfield. But today's the one, man. Today's the one that this cannot happen. This is, for Arsenal, this is unacceptable.
I've just seen a comment. Somebody said that Arteta really did just put out the cones for Pep. I think he's a bit early. I think he's a bit early for that, to be fair. But I respect the bravery there.
We've not won anything yet, and we're not gassing it up as if we're Premier League champions right now. But the reason we are gassed is because the door's been left wide open. It's not just a little crack. There's not just one foot in the door. We're here. The door's open, and we're coming through. It's there for us to come right now, which is why we're gassed. And we've been in this position so many times before. That's why we feel confident, because we know what our team can pull off in these situations. Yeah, it's serious times for us.
Let's have a look at the Premier League table then, boys. Arsenal, of course, have played an extra game than us, and by the time we come to play Arsenal, they would have played an extra game because, of course, they play Southampton on Friday as well. So what that means is essentially this: City still have to beat Arsenal, right? This is obviously on the proviso that Arsenal beat Southampton, which most people expect them to do. Arsenal beat Southampton. City still have to beat Arsenal, but what that will mean is that we get one draw available, providing that our goal difference stays superior to Arsenal. Because if we have to use that draw, we'll win the league on goal difference. So it's for Arsenal. I think for them, they just need to be like, we just need to beat City at the Etihad. That's our draw. You know what I mean? They just don't get beat off City at the Etihad, which is what they were going to do today. But what it's done for City is it's we still have to beat them, which has not changed, but it's then given us that extra little bit of protection. So, you know, some people may look at it and go, nothing's really changed. And I understand why you might say that, because in the short term, nothing has changed. We still have to get the win. But after that, should we get the win, I think the odds on Manchester City winning the league, should we beat Arsenal, to go through the roof, because we can draw a game. We can draw a game and still win, and Arsenal can't. So it's unbelievable. Final thoughts, boys, before we wrap up on this one. Big day, innit? Big day.
I mean, I kind of saw it coming a few days ago, but as soon as they went 2-0 up, I thought that's gone. And the fact that they're 2-0 up against West Ham, a team fighting for relegation, basically, and they've not won that game, it's it's going to be costly. I think it's going to be costly. And we've seen these kind of games earlier in the season. We've seen Villa. They've scuffed in a couple of late goals. It was a bit lucky. They've played Bournemouth, gone 2-0 down, and scored like a screamer in the last minute. And you can call that, whatever you put, whatever name you put on that. You could call it luck. You could say it's mentality, whatever. We knew these moments were going to come where they've gone 2-0 up and they've crumbled. It's happened the other way around, really. And yeah, it's going to be costly for them. It's going to be costly. It's big.
Hugh, final thoughts, bro?
I think we've summed it up, bro. The big blue shark's getting closer. Simple as.
Big blue shark is getting closer. People, unbelievable today. 2-0 up yet again. Arsenal are feeling the heat and they don't appear to be able to deal with it. Yo, big up the Irons. Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
Forever
blowing bubbles.
LB,
Yo,
what are you drinking tonight, mate? Fairy liquid.
I'm on a fairy liquid hype. Yeah. It's
Cool,
too
man.
early for the full champagne. You know what I mean? It's too early days. You can't get carried away, as Steve said. So I'm not going to get carried away, man. But tonight is a night that I think we can all sit there, watch match of the day. You know what I mean? That'll be a nice one. Have to see what they got to say. Watch a few AFTV videos. You know what I mean? See there's some reactions. Go on Twitter, see some meltdowns. But yeah, it's not. We ain't partying. It's not party time. But the balloons have been added to the wish list, and all the party decorations have been added to the wish list. We've just not pressed the buy button yet, you know. So hopefully we can get there. Yo, big up people, big up lads, man, for jumping on at such short notice as well. Big up Hugh, man. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. If you have, make sure you drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. And people, we're out of it. Yo,
we owe MCFC lads a massive congratulations. Big 100K.
100 up.
We need some dubs in the chat for MCFC lads.
100
big,
up, man.
Big.
Appreciate it.
100 up. Yo, big up, bro. Yeah, big up to lads. If you're not already done so, subscribe to lads, man. You know where it's at. And yeah, people, we're out of it. Catch you in the next one. See you later.